that the wrap in accordance with the photograph, which you've supplied, nothing to the rear of the vehicle, because we felt it takes away from the licensing badge, and no other adverts, because the back of the car especially was far too busy. Can you put your microphone on? Sorry.
Sorry, that's my fault. So just to clarify, that's to remove the EcoCar sticker, the Smart Local Ride sticker, and the QR code, but
Yeah, and the wrap.
the actual wrap itself.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
I'll just make sure I
So
make a note of that.
we're going on what's in the photograph. No other adverts, because there was adverts on the bonnet of the one downstairs. So no other adverts. The wrap, nothing on the back at all. So no adverts, no wrap, nothing.
So just the front door and the rear door side panels then?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
well, you've got it on the roof, you've got it on the bonnet on this, and the sides. That's fine,
Okay.
okay, but nothing at all on the back.
Because it does say in the application that a digital impression of the corporate livery intended to be used is contained in that photograph. And what they saw outside was much more than what's contained in that photograph.
Yeah, apologies. It was my colleague that submitted that. I'm not sure why the black version was submitted, because obviously we were aware it was Hackney's and it should have been the white. So I do apologise for that. But
Yeah, it's not the colour of the vehicle. It's just that you say that's a digital impression of what you're going to use, but on the car outside there was much more things, much more advertisements on it.
Of course.
So what the members are saying is only the wrap that's contained in that photograph, nothing to the rear.
No problem.
Okay, and no other advertisements in the front door or anywhere else.
That's fine.
All right.
Thank you all for your time today. Thanks.
Thank you, Kirsty.
The other members need to be invited back in, Chair.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Mike and Joanna, they can come back in now.
Yeah, I think Julie will have to.
I'm back in. I've been invited by Julie Ellens. I'm back in.
Right, thanks.
Yeah, I'm back in.
Sorry,
Okay,
sorry, Max.
Back with Councillor Smith. Have you in? Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Right, okay, so we're going to move to agenda item 5 now. And I'll ask Kirsty to give this report.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, so this is an information report providing members with an update on the taxi testing regime. So the purpose is to provide you with an update on the feasibility study in respect of our taxi testing regime in Bridgend Council. So currently, we use our powers under Section 50 of the Local Government's Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1976 to require all vehicles to be presented to the Council's in-house MOT testing station at T. Thomas Joint Vehicle Maintenance Facility. On the 22nd of November 2022, the Licensing Committee heard representations from the taxi trade through local members and also a petition to open up taxi testing in Bridgend Council to other MOT garages. Specifically, in the petition was the request to allow for testing in any MOT station rather than the in-house testing facility. So during this meeting, the Licensing Committee resolved to authorise officers to conduct a feasibility study on the alternative models of discharging our statutory duties in respect of testing and licensing Hackney carriage and private hire vehicles. So following this committee meeting, licensing officers from the shared regulatory services attended a management board that is responsible for the governance of T. Thomas testing facility to discuss the current agreement that exists. And at this meeting, a discussion took place on the possibility of an early exit from the testing arrangements. But it was confirmed that the existing testing arrangements will run for the initial fixed term entered into by both parties. And this expires in March 2025. So due to this binding date, the feasibility study will now take place in the 2024 to 2025 financial year. So this would ensure that members have the most up-to-date relevant information to enable them to make an informed decision. So during our feasibility study, we'll consider 4 models. So the first, proprietors obtain an MOT certificate from any MOT testing station in the borough, and that same testing station undertakes the additional taxi compliance test. Second, proprietors obtain an MOT certificate from any MOT testing station in the borough, but require a separate taxi compliance check to be undertaken in-house. Third, select a number of approved MOT testing stations to conduct MOT testing and or taxi compliance checks, and finally to retain the current in-house testing regime. If I move to the recommendations, Chair, that is members note the contents of the report and await the feasibility report on the alternative models of discharging our statutory duties in respect of the testing and licensing of Hackney carriage and private hire vehicles. Thank you, Chair.
You said it's going to be in this next financial year now. Are we looking at the start of it? You know, what are we looking at time-wise?
Well, we will start the feasibility study as soon as we're able to. So in the beginning of the financial year, we'll start conducting our studies. I'm unable to give a timeline on when the report will come to committee, and that will depend on our findings and how we enter through our feasibility study, but it will be in good time before the end of the agreement, so we know that we can have something in place, whatever the committee decide, because we will then need to take next steps. So it will be in good time. Thank you.
Philip.
Yeah, thank you for the report there. And you did just explain, but my only concern was, just to reiterate what you said, that obviously that we have it in time before the existing contractor, because it's probably quite an extensive a number of things to discuss and the options that have been given us. So if we could have that information prior to, you know, a month or 2 months before this contract expires, to be fair to everybody, and give this committee time to discuss the options. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Councillor. There'll be a number of reports that will have to come to committee, and a number of so this will be considered when doing the feasibility study. Thank you.
Somebody's got a question a minute. Richard?
Thank you, Chair. Actually, I was going to move that we note this item and consider the report when it's available. Okay, thank you.
Heidi?
Thank you, Chair. My question was going to be, in terms of Section 8 financial implications, it references the taxi test fees. In any feasibility options that come forward, will we also be able to have the information on how much it might cost the proprietors to do a separate taxi compliance check? So we're understanding what the implications are for the proprietors as well.
Yeah, full financial considerations will be included in the feasibility study report.
Right, so can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll move, Chair.
Right, so item 6 is urgent items, and there are no urgent items. So
Chair,
thank you
could I-
all very much.
Chair, could I bring something up? We discussed, me and Jonathan, when we were in a meeting a long time ago. Kirsty, can you remember about dash cams?
I don't remember. You'll have to remind me.
Yeah, we asked if we could have hardwired dash cams.
In taxi vehicles.
Yeah, because we had a bit of trouble with one of our taxi drivers.
One of so you're aware, obviously, with the Welsh Government's white paper currently in place, currently going through the motions. We may have some feedback from that. We're yet to know what the legislative and guidance accompanying that will look like for taxi licensing. Yeah. But it's like the Minister has alluded to the fact that it is likely to include some sort of CCTV guidance, or it could be legislative. We don't know yet, but we're waiting to see the proposals before we introduce anything.
Yeah, because this happened inside the car, and of course with the normal dash cams, they don't pick up while they lose it after so long. But with hardwired, it will still be there. I think you could remember the case, Chair. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Tony. All right, so thank you, everybody.